Hey, what's going on? Todd Shaw with another episode of the Sawdust Dude. Cool deal. Working on another cabin just off the Blue Ridge Parkway in Southwest Virginia. Actually, this is looking out over North Carolina. Beautiful view here on the ridge. And if you can kind of see through the haze and that mountain with that little hump on it, that is Pilot Mountain. And if you're familiar with the Andy Griffith Show, that would be Mount Pilot. That's right. Andy Griffith's hometown, Mayberry, or Mount Airy, is just right over there. So got a cool project. You know, we always, probably about 80% of the cabins that I do are a solid color stain because they're in such bad shape. This cabin here we're working on today is a cabin. It's actually a modular cabin. Very, very, very well built by Blue Ridge Cabins out of Cantabello, South Carolina. And I knew the original owner of this cabin. Real cool dude. He's since passed away, and so this cabin's changed hands. So it's got a natural finish on it, and so we're just kind of bringing it back to life a little bit. You can look around, especially this side. See how this real weather faded. Wrong kind of caulk here. Once again, that's silicone. No bueno. So as you're looking at a cabin, maybe you're looking at one to purchase. That's the kind of stuff you need to look at when you're looking at a cabin. This thing's gonna have to be stained. You gotta look at the caulk. This wrong kind of caulk. You can't stain over that. Especially this oil-based stain, it'll just repel off that, and so it'll look even worse if you try to hide that. Looking around for danger, 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 wasp and everything. Here's one of the big things when you're talking about cabins, especially with this transparent or semi-transparent stains. You can see the dirt and these lines here. You can see how I take my finger and just rub it on that. You see how I take my finger and that just rubs right off. Well, we've talked about this before in other videos, and here it is once again. You can see this angle here, how the dirt on these, the curvature of the logs, how dirt just settles on the top of it. And all the way around the cabin. I mean, that's just, this thing has probably never been washed, especially under this little eave right here. And look at the dirt on there. Woo, man, that's bad. So that's one of the things that we look at. We gotta wash it. And over here, I mean, these are real logs over here. And then over on this side where they did a garage, this is log siding. How do you tell the difference? Well, obviously you can look at this is called butt and pass. That's the butt, and then this one passes. So it just kind of staggers a butt and pass, and butt and pass is what that is called, like that. Now over here, guess what? Every 16 on center, I see nail holes, and where guys just use framing guns. And this is where finish carpenter, or where framers tried to be a finish carpenter, and they just leave these nail holes. We got to go in here and kind of caulk all that up so it doesn't just look so bad. And so we actually finish it out and form something that never was done years ago. I know the contractor that built this thing, he just is not into finish work. So a lot of stuff we're looking at here is kind of weird how they did this. One of the things that you also want to look at when you're talking about cabins, or really any house, you know, overgrown bushes. That stuck me. Overgrown bushes. So we need to trim this out. It's real bad for the finish. Holds moisture against the cabin. Another thing that's not so good. And we go around, we just look for different types of rot. You know, got more problems with insects up there. We'll have to treat all that obviously before we have to get rid of those guys, before we can start working or even power washing, because you know, you would need 4 EpiPens for that one. Got some rot here for the handrails. We got to try to find that or make it. More overgrown bushes. But this really won't be a big bad house at all. But first thing we need to do is get it washed up real well. and using the log wash from Perma Chink, great product. And so kind of go from there. Hey, one of the things that I get asked a lot is, you know, I'm not familiar with the cabin. I don't know what it was originally stained with. That's why a lot of people talk about, you know, I really need to strip your cabin. I need to do an immediate blast on it so that the new stuff will stick to it. Well, you do this for enough years, you can kind of tell what's on there and you can stick with it. And this is an oil-based product, and it used to be called Sikkens, S-I-K-K-E-N-S. And it really helps out when you dig through the garage. And guess what? This is the Prolux. Sikkens has since been bought out by PPG, and still a great product and great looking. But a lot of times it'll have a real wet look, and you know, a lot of people like to use the glossy look for this. And this is a matte finish on this cabin. But you know, going back, putting oil based on top of oil based will be real safe on this one, so it won't be a problem. And one of the things that you definitely want to do, you got to get this, we'll probably wash this cabin twice to get it super clean and scrub it with a brush and a soft bristle brush so we get it real clean. Because this is a transparent product that's going back on here, you make sure you want to get it clean, because if you leave it dirty and you shoot the new stain on top, that dirt mark or footprints or bird poop or whatever will be trapped underneath the new stain. So you always got to get it prepped out real good. Remember, you probably spend about 80% of your time getting it prepped out so that you can do 20% of the work on the back end, so your finished work looks great. So it's all about the prep work, especially on transparent and semi-transparent stains for log cabins. And I say log cabins, that's a home or whatever, you know. Everybody's like, oh, a log cabin, does that look like a cabin to you? That's 3,000 square feet. Whatever. Here's one of the things that I really like about Perma Chink Stain and also PPG is that they sell a top coat or a finish coat which is totally clear. So if your stain, you like the color, you want to stick with that same shade, you can actually, you know, clean it up, do the power washing, do the log wash, get the logs nice and shiny or clean again. And if you like how it looks, if the finish is not too faded, you can actually just put a clear coat over it. And it kind of goes on milky looking, but then dries clear, especially the Perma Chink product, their top coat, which comes in a matte or a glossy finish. But PPG also has what's called a maintenance coat, so it is colorless, and so it will do the same thing. Now here is a huge pro tip for you that I've seen a lot of guys make mistakes, a lot of log home owners, or even guys that may be painters and not familiar with the log home industry. They say they come up and they've got their color chart, and PPG makes 7 colors. And so they'll look at this and go, well, you know what? Let's go with the, man, that kind of looks like the teak color there. And so they'll go buy a bunch of teak colored stain, and because the customer says, yeah, I like this color, that's what I want on there. But you put teak on top of teak, well, guess what? It's gonna get darker. Matter of fact, it's gonna get a lot darker. The darker the shade, butternut, or even up here, especially this mahogany, let me tell you, I've seen more mistakes, especially with the mahogany, because if you put mahogany and then come back 7 years later and throw down more mahogany on top of mahogany, you got a like purple cabin. I'm not kidding you. It's kind of got a purple tint to it anyway, but when you throw that dark on top of dark, oh my gosh, you just made a big mistake. And the only course of action is for you to strip all that off, and that's mega bucks. You don't want to go there. So listen, please listen. Watch that. Now let me tell you a little tip. The maintenance coat, which is colorless, that's your first option. But on like some of these other walls where this kind of looks like cedar or teak, I'll go in with a natural and put it on top of a cedar or a teak or this natural oak. I'll go in with a natural color because it's got a little color or a little bit of pigmentation in it. Nothing that's really gonna darken it up. But so I may have to take one wall that's like over here, the one that's really faded. I may have to take this wall because that looks really brown and this has kind of got a reddish tint to it. I may have to throw a different color, especially you see where it's really faded, just down the raw logs. And that's where you got to kind of play around with some of your shades and tones of the difference. So I may have to buy a gallon and throw that up there, and then because it soaks it up so much, then I can throw down the maintenance coat, the clear coat, the colorless on top of what I've already put down. So watch out for that, especially, you know, with that mahogany. If you throw down mahogany on top of mahogany, like I said, it's gonna get super dark. So if you like the color and it's worn real well, but it's just kind of lost that shine, PPG, and which is an oil-based product, PPG has a maintenance coat, and Perma Chink, which is a water-based product, which is really good too, also has a maintenance coat. That's a good tip for you. That's pretty nice, isn't it? Hey, here's one of the things that I wanted to show you about PPG stain, or really any oil-based stain. You can kind of see this is on the this cabin's kind of facing the east or west side, so this part of the wall really get a beating. And like we talked about before, depending on your region, you know, these log temperatures can get up 140 degrees and kind of over that. So that's why you see a lot of discoloration on the top of the logs like that. But a lot of this, the wind's blowing from this direction, you get a lot of dirt, a lot of wind, a lot of sun, so this cabin gets a real beating. Now this is one of the things that I really wanted to show you when you let stain go too long. See how that's flaking up right there? So that right there, I just call it just kind of like, you know, if we get a sunburn, you know, your skin starts peeling. Well, that stain starts fading. And once again, you kind of see how it's just on the top of the log, and that's primarily where the sun beats down on it. We got it all across the logs here. And so I'm gonna give you a little before and after, because we're about to power wash this thing and really scrub it down real good. And this cabin has probably, I don't even know the last time it's been washed, so it's taken 2 and 3 washings just to get it down so I can get it prepped right. Remember we talked about, you know, like 80% of the work before you stain your cabin? Remember we talked about before, 80% of the work that you do is going to be prep work, and the other 20% is putting the finish on it. So it's all about the prep work and doing it right. And so let's tackle that wall. Another good spot I wanted to show you, you know, a lot of times, especially if you're using a scrub brush, you can kind of check up behind yourself and just grab a bucket with some wash in it, and or a pail with wash in it, with log wash and water, and a soapy rag, and then another bucket with some water just to kind of clean it up, because you can kind of see the spots right here, and especially where there's trim right here. So if I get in with my brush just scrubbing like this, a lot of times it won't scrub these areas like that really well. So before you start throwing down stain on top of this, because remember, we don't want to stain on top of this because that dirt will be there. It's kind of like a fossil underneath the ground, so we want to get rid of that dirt. So that's a little pro tip you need to look up, so or look out for, so that you have a good job or a great job. So let's do a great job. Hey, okay, so whether you're a contractor dude or a DIY dude or a dudette, you know, let me just kind of go over, and I don't mean to keep going over the same thing over and over, but you kind of got to get a feel for this, and why maintenance is just a big issue with log cabins. And so you can kind of see how, you know, once again, it's faded on the top. You get a lot of this. So what you need to kind of watch is when you go in and start throwing down more stain on this, you know, if I go with a real light, well, this will turn out lighter, and this a little bit darker. So you kind of have to play around with it a little bit. That's why it's good to stay on top of this stuff. So especially with PPG, you can throw down that maintenance coat, which is colorless. It has no pigmentation in it, so it makes it a lot easier, and you get a better looking job. Your cabin kind of stays the same color, instead of getting progressively darker over the years. So stay on top of your cabins. This is really like a before. I showed you this wall here a little while ago, and this is the wall. Remember I showed you with the peeling on it, and of course it's wet, so you kind of get that kind of look, but you can see how much cleaner it is. Now one of the things, especially well, for anybody, one of the things that while you're cleaning it, you remember you got to touch every square inch of this cabin 2 to 3 times. So we wash it, then we go and caulk all the checks and all the cracks in the logs, and then we'll go back and stain it. So this cabin, we'll do it at least 3 times. If it requires a second coat, you know, obviously there you go, that's 4 times. So one of the things you want to be looking out for is this. You see how that's, now remember this is log siding, this is the garage part of it, and they just put log siding on here. And so you'll just take an exterior grade decking screw. Don't get right on the end like this. When you're screwing it, you kind of want a toenail. You come in at an angle, and so that pine board doesn't split. And I'll show you what a piece of that log siding looks like. Here's what log siding looks like, and you know, it's got curvature here, but it's just a lap. And so you would put this down here, put this board down, and notice it's got that little groove like that, and then this part here is kind of a tongue and groove. This would be the tongue, and obviously that's a groove cut into it, and so that groove, the next board would just lap on top of this, and it laps over. So that's why I call it lap siding, but it's not a true tongue and groove like you would flooring or something, but it's still the kind of the same principle. And let me just flip this over. You can see the groove running on the back side like that. And so, I mean, that's all there is to it. It's just pine, and like number 2 pine, it has some knots in it, and it's really pretty good. And a lot of guys just use framing guns and bow and blow holes all in it. You can kind of see here once again. And so you really need to go back and caulk up even this butt joint. And so it just makes a better finished job. Once again, I know the contractors that did this, they're great framers, but not good finish carpenters. So you can kind of tell when a finish carpenter tries to do, when a framer tries to do finish carpentry work, that's the results you get. Take pride in your work, take time, do it right, okay? A little quick tip here for you, but before we do that, I'm here with my mic. I'm here with my buddy Mike Dellinger. Let's give him a Ric Flair. 1, 2, 3. Woo! Hey, you got these empty containers laying around. Let me just show you a great way to pick them up. And we'll put on there how many takes this took. Woo! All right, that's it. Things when you're doing a log cabin, you're staying in a log home, you know, this is after we've already pressure washed it, of course, and we can see that the peeling of the oil-based PPG stain, which is really just a lack of maintenance, and it's just time to put another coat on it. Like I said, it's kind of like a sunburn. But when you're doing your cabin, one of the things you always want to do is remove the gutters or remove the downspouts. You don't have to remove the gutters, but you do have to remove the downspouts. This has probably never been done except from the original stain, and so it's a great place for rot and take place. Of course, it's just log siding, but always remove your downspouts on your gutters and do a good job behind it. Clean real well and put stain on it. So it's just a smart thing. It's, you know what? It's the right thing to do. Yeah. Things that you want to do, I just sprayed this wall just a little while ago, but one of the things that you always want to do is kind of go back and inspect your work, make sure that there are no runs or sags in it. And especially on a day like today, you know, looking down that way, that's North Carolina, and that's probably from here to there is like, I don't know, 27, well, it's a good 3,000 foot difference in the elevation. They got a lot of heat and humidity down there, but being on this right, the the face of the mountain, it's kind of humid today for us. But so when there's a lot of humidity, there's a lot of humidity. That's crazy. I almost said titty. But anyway, so when there's a lot of humidity in the air, you got to watch for sags. And especially on the bottom here, you can see that dark line. So this is called back brushing. And I just take my brush and I go back along the bottom to get those. Look up here. See those little drips? You don't want that to dry out like that. Have those little, like little Hershey Kisses drops, I call them. But yes, I want to go back through all my logs and make sure there's no heavy drips. And then you can also take an old Sawdust Dude t-shirt and unload your brush and just get a dry brush and just kind of brush that in evenly like this. And that way you won't go back and there'll be like dark lines on the bottom of your log. So watch for those drips and watch for the sags. Boom. Well, hey, cool deal. I appreciate you watching another episode of the Sawdust Dude Log Cabin Edition. Oh yeah, good luck on your project. Leave a comment below. Let me know if there's something going on that you got a question about. Cool deal. Thanks for watching the Sawdust Dude. I'll see you real soon. Oh yeah.